Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he gave a briefing on the war earlier today, and he was asked about the timing of the conflict amid ongoing talks with Iran to end its nuclear program. Listen.
Tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away.
And now let's bring in CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson. So, Ellie, you were at that briefing earlier today. Any other detail from the secretary that stood out to you?
Yeah, well, a briefing in itself is kind of rare these days, Mugo, so It was great to be in the briefing room. The secretary really, before the president today, outlined similar objectives for this operation, saying that the operation was launched to destroy Iran's offensive missiles production and their Navy and other security infrastructure with the purpose of making sure that they cannot develop nuclear weapons under the defense of those missiles in the future. What wasn't clear is a specific timeline of why now did this operation start, when this has been a threat for some time, or how long this will take. The president today saying he's not going to get bored. Secretary Hegseth earlier said the commander-in-chief will ultimately lay out how long this operation lasts. The other details we heard were the TikTok of how this operation got started Friday into Saturday. The top U.S. military officer alongside Secretary Hegseth said that the final order from the president was conveyed through the secretary to U.S. Central Command in the Middle East at around 3:38 Eastern p.m. on Friday. And then the operations launched Saturday morning, 1:15 Eastern. Over 1,000 targets have been hit with the objective of destroying these missile capabilities, but the chairman nor the secretary gave a progress update or how long, how much of a stockpile Iran still has of their ballistic missiles.
And Ellie, obviously the president spoke right after Secretary Pete Hegseth, and he says that he says he expects this war to last for a month or more. Do you get the sense here that the Pentagon is deferring to the president when it comes to just how long this war could go on for? Definitely, especially since the president on the record has kind of varied in his responses on that, from initially wanting this to be short, limited, to now saying he's not going to get bored. I will say some analysis that Center for Strategic and International Studies has done they show that the forces built up in the region, while it is the most in really a generation, it's not necessarily enough to sustain a weeks-long air campaign. And that's why we maybe heard from General Caine today that there will be additional forces flowing in on top of the buildup that you and I really have been talking about for weeks now. Yeah, very important information to know there. Ellie Watson, thank you so much for your time.